You are watching part 6 of the full series of Java Spring Boot interview questions. These are the 5 questions we are going to discuss in this session. What is the purpose of the @qualifier annotation in Spring Boot? How does Spring Boot handle exception logging and error handling? Describe the purpose and usage of the @REST controller advice annotation. What is the purpose of the @configuration properties annotation in Spring Boot? Describe the purpose and usage of the @dynamic property source annotation in Spring Boot testing. First question, what is the purpose of the @qualifier annotation in Spring Boot? The @qualifier annotation in Spring is used to disambiguate bean references when we have multiple beans of the same type defined in the Spring container. It is used in scenarios where a given type has more than one implementation and we need to inject a specific implementation. By default, Spring uses the by-type auto-wiring mechanism. This means that if we have more than one bean of the same type, Spring will throw a no unique bean definition exception because it won't know which one to auto-wire. The @qualifier annotation can be used in conjunction with @autowire to specify which exact bean should be wired, by providing the name of the bean as the qualifier value. Second question, how does Spring Boot handle exception logging and error handling? In Spring Boot, exception logging and error handling can be configured using various mechanisms. Spring Boot automatically provides a default error page that displays a standardized error message for unhandled exceptions. However, you can customize the error handling behavior by implementing exception handlers using the @controller advice annotation and handling specific exceptions in dedicated methods. Additionally, you can configure logging frameworks to capture and log exceptions with desired levels of detail and appenders. Third question, describe the purpose and usage of the @REST controller advice annotation. The @REST controller advice annotation is a specialized form of the @controller advice annotation in Spring Boot. It combines the functionality of @controller advice and @response body, making it convenient for implementing global exception handling in RESTful APIs. By using @REST controller advice, you can define exception handlers that handle exceptions thrown by any @request mapping or @REST controller method. Within the application, the exception handlers can return error responses in JSON or other supported formats. What is the purpose of the @configuration properties annotation in Spring Boot? The @configuration properties annotation is used to bind external configuration properties to Spring managed beans. By annotating a bean class with @configuration properties and specifying a prefix, you can map properties with matching names to the fields or setter methods of the bean. Spring Boot will automatically bind the values from the configuration sources to the corresponding bean properties. The annotation simplifies the retrieval and usage of configuration properties within your application. Next question, describe the purpose and usage of the @dynamic property source annotation in Spring Boot testing. The @dynamic property source annotation in Spring Boot testing allows you to dynamically define and modify configuration properties. During the test execution, you can use this annotation in conjunction with the test property values class to set or override properties based on dynamic values or test conditions. This provides flexibility in configuring the environment for testing and allows you to simulate different scenarios or configurations during testing. Hope you have learned something and feel confident to answer the questions we discussed so far. Here is the list of questions that will be discussed in the next session. Please check out our playlist for more questions and subscribe our channel for updates and notifications. Good luck for your upcoming interviews.